Right, when the pandemic happened and we didn't know which way to go, and we were asked to wear our masks, we were asked to social distance, and in some cases, we were asked to be quarantined. We needed to accept that the pandemic was with us and life as we knew it had taken a different exit. We began to seek ways of staying connected. This is what the pandemic did to us. We wanted to stay connected, but we couldn't because we had been asked to social distance. We'd been asked to stay home. We were not going to work. There was no school. We couldn't even visit our places of worship. But we still wanted to stay connected because this is the nature of a human being. We wanted to get information. So before where you would leave wherever you are and go and seek information, whatever it is, even a government service, you couldn't go to those offices anymore. So we needed to get information. We needed to share information. Social beings, we were always hanging out. If we're not having a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, we were taking walks, we were out in the gardens, we were visiting. We had our groups, our social groups, our chamas. But we couldn't do this anymore. So we were seeking ways to share one another's company and information. Learning. We had to seek ways to learn. This is what the pandemic did to us. Buying and selling of goods and services. This took on another level. How are we going to go to the shops to buy anything? How are we going to go to the banks to withdraw or do our banking? We were introduced to the resourcefulness of the digital world, and in stepped social media. It became our new normal. So this is what the pandemic did. Well, here at LMC Consultancy, this month, a new month of May, it's all about energy and prosperity. Energy and prosperity. It is about taking on what life has served us and choosing to see the opportunities. So social media, that's what we're talking about today. Social media explosion. How are you plugging into these opportunities of social media? Are you a creator? Take a moment and think about it. Are you a creator or are you a witness? Perhaps you're a victim and you're sitting back and saying, why has this happened to me? Well, spoiler alert, it happened to everybody, not only to you. The question you should be asking is, why has this happened for me? So that you can be able to optimize on the opportunities that have been presented by the pandemic, which has then given you that open window of social media. And today it's about social media explosion. So I ask again, are you a creator or a witness, or perhaps a victim to what is happening around you? Are you limiting yourself in any way? Or are you allowing yourself to thrive? Are you allowing yourself to thrive? So of course, I'm going to be asking you to share with us what you have done and how this has worked for you. So what have you done about social media opportunities that have been presented to you because of the situation that we are in worldwide? Welcome to Tuesday Talks at 3. It's a platform where women help one another in our daily journey as we go through the sphere of life. My name is Lucy Macridis, and I am the founder of LMC Consultancy and an expert in helping women get unstuck and onto their true potential through unlocking their limiting beliefs. I am a clarity coach, a mentor, and an online facilitator. And I want to thank you so much for being with us on this broadcast here today, which today it's all about energy and prosperity. And we are looking at the explosion of social media. And my guest today, when I do introduce her, is going to be taking us through her life, motherhood, and her life journey with social media, and therefore how it exploded and how it has worked for her. I will share my screen now and just share our activities that we have this May, so you can be able to have an insight of what we are doing. So today we have something that is running called the Lady in Waiting, and this is already ongoing. We are going to be done this Saturday. It is for the age group 12 to 18 years of age. And we call it lady in waiting because we are gracefully transitioning into society at this age. So we are helping them. So those of you out there who've got guardians who are in this age group, the sessions are going on right now. However, we will have other sessions coming through. And if you do want one-on-ones, I'm very happy to run those for you. The cost, as you see on the screen, is 8,500 shillings. So we take you through social skills, core values, self-esteem, personal purpose, 6 sessions, 12 hours, and 6 workbooks. You want to be able to put your guardian on this. Moving on, for those of you who are not aware, I am co-authoring a book with 12 other ladies, and it is called Wealth Footprints. And my part of the book is called Awakening Self. So what I've been doing is giving you a peek of what is going in there, a little peek of what is going on in my book. And I take you through 5 sessions, 5 tools, and 5 workbooks. And this allows you to have tools that will help you know your goals, understand what your limiting beliefs are, what is your purpose, understanding your voice and stepping into your becoming of awakening self. We did have an early bird offer where you had to book and pay by yesterday, but I'm extending it to midnight tonight. So instead of 5,000 shillings per person, you'll be paying 3,350. And right now, you can drop me a direct message in the chat, and I will be able to come back to you and take your booking and give you the login details along with the registration. So registration is open, guys. Go on ahead and make your booking. Then we have our masterclass, which is on core values. It's so important, core values. And this is one of the things that we take the young girls through in the Lady in Waiting. Well, we have a 2-day core values class at 3,000 shillings on the 22nd of May and the 29th of May at 10 a.m. to midday. Now, on the first day, we will be looking at values identification. Did you know that most of us do not live aligned to our values because we've never identified them? We don't know what we stand for. So this tool will take you through what do you stand for. So you begin to understand self first before you can go ahead and align your values so that you can be living in fulfillment. So those are our activities for this May. We've got other activities, and I encourage you to go onto my catalog on my Facebook and be able to see what we have. It's exciting times, and the girls are having such a wonderful time. And it is what you want to be part of right now, making sure that your children are actually going to be part of this growth. And I want to encourage all of you, as you question yourselves about social media today, just question yourself. What is it that you are doing different on social media? I want you to share with us on the chat. And as you share with us on the chat, tell us what has worked for you. Tell us how you are a creator, that you are not a witness. Neither are you a victim. You're actually using it to optimize. Well, guys, I'm just going to be checking the Facebook Live and see who is there right now. So we can just do some shout out and say hello. Okay, and there we are, we're live. Yes, I can see you there, guys. Thank you so much. You've heard what the questions are today. Tell us what it is that you are actually doing. What are you purposely choosing to do on social media? How is it affecting you? Are you learning? Are you doing your exercises? Are you looking for information? Or are you carrying out religious activities? Thank you so much, Ngao. I see you right there. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you who are quiet bystanders, I really would love to hear from you. So once again, welcome to Tuesday Talks at 3. And I really would love for you to engage with us. So what makes me an expert? I have had over 30 years of experience in the hospitality industry. And this has allowed me to be able to step into myself. And now I am a life coach. And all this was as a result of COVID. Because COVID happened, it disrupted my journey, guys, my purpose and my true potential. But then I did find out that when I rethought my journey, I found that my purpose remained the same, and that was to help build one another. And that is why we are here today. I found my voice, and I'm owning my voice, and I'm on the journey of embracing my voice, and I want you to be part of this. So I invite you to like our Facebook page for the opportunity to be part of We Are Connected. I would also like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and benefit from all the guests who have shared their stories on their journeys with us. And remember to activate that notification button so that you can always be advised when new videos are being loaded. So share with us your story and let us help build one another. However, with us here today to share her story on motherhood and her life journey on social media is Tatiana Karanja. Tatiana is a mother of two smart, kind, and beautiful girls. She is a photographer and a content creator. She's passionate about travel, adventure, and of food. I mean, it's just so exciting to know that there's somebody who is excited about food. And I'd just like to welcome Tatiana. Tatiana, hi. Good to see you there, Tatiana.
Hi.
Hi.
Happy
How
to
you
be
doing?
here. Good. I'm so happy and excited to have this chat. So I'm happy to be here.
I am so pleased that you were able to accept our invitation. And today it's all about social media explosion. And we really want to hear about you and what it is that you've done, because you are quite a presence. You're quite a presence on social media. And just watching you doing your stuff on social media got me thinking, where is she getting all this energy from? So I would love to hear about that. And I'm just checking on our guests and just having the same question to them. Guys, Tatiana is here and you can ask her the questions as you please. What is it that gives her all this energy to be able to be a mother, to be a content creator, to be a photographer, to be a foodie, a traveler, somebody who loves adventure? So I'd just love to ask you, just jump into it, Tatiana. You know, where are you getting your energy from?
Honestly, most days I really feel like I don't have any energy, but a lot of people always, like, when they call me, they're always like, oh my God, you sound so happy. You sound so energized. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from, but I think becoming a mom has definitely pushed me to work harder and strive for better. And of course, you have two people at home relying solely on you. So you don't really have the room to not be energetic. I mean, you have to be out there hustling or, providing for your family. So I think that's definitely one big motivator in my life.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely realized a big change from before I had kids to now. I mean, since I only had myself to think about, I didn't really put in that much effort. But now that I have other people to think about, and you just want what's best for your kids as well as yourself. So that's really been my biggest motivation the past 4 years. And not only that, I think, it comes with getting older and getting wiser. I mean, I'm just about to hit 30, and obviously, I just passed my teen years, this party stages, all of that kind of stuff. But now I'm starting to realize who I really am, what I want out of my life. I'm excited about all the goals that I've set for myself. And about the future. So that also is a really big motivation. And not only that, like, I do things on a daily basis that make me happy. So I wake up and I go and do something for myself that makes me happy, which is also a motivation to get up and, get out there, do what it is that I'm doing.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, even just listening to your voice and your upbeat, the energy. I mean, if I was to take myself back almost 20 years or 25 years ago, when my children were the age that your children are now, it was a lot of energy that was needed because I needed to be at their level, for the children to be able to thrive. You can't have a boring mommy. Mommy has to have a lot of energy. But then I used to get so spent. At the end of the day, I was as exhausted as they were, especially if I had to go to work and then come back and spend quality time with the children. I mean, I loved it, and I'd love to go back, if only for one day. So I'm giving you some hope here, some comfort, Tatiana, that there may be days when you feel spent, but let me tell you, years from now, you're going to love the memories that you have created with your children. And it's what's going to keep you going, Tatiana. So you are on a good and a beautiful, fulfilling path. Yeah, so I like the happy that you wake up in the morning and you choose to do what makes you happy. Whitney Ndungu, karibu sana. It is good to see you here. The question today is on social media. It is our new normal. So how is it working for you? What have you done with social media that is working for you? Share with us and let us motivate, inspire, engage, and speak to one another. So we are here with Tatiana, and she's just about to take us through her life on social media. And I was just asking her a little teaser there where she gets her energy from. So what does it take, Tatiana? What does it take on social media?
I think a lot more than people realize, because I think one of the notions that I'm getting is that people just think, you take a picture, you write something, and that's the end of. I mean, how easy is that? But I think for me personally,
Tatiana, I think we are losing
myself
you.
speaks of mentally, because I'm not my life. Hello, can you hear me?
I think we are losing you. Your bandwidth must be quite low.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, you're coming back now. You're coming back.
Oh,
Yes.
I wonder what. Okay. What I was saying is it takes. Okay. What I was saying is it takes a lot mentally and emotionally, because I'm pouring a lot of myself out there,
Yes.
and personally, like on my page, it's about a lot of honesty. Ooh, have I gone off?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It just takes a lot of me pouring myself, all of the things that I go through. So all the ups, all the downs, everything in between. Yeah, it takes a lot out of me. And I think it also opens up a space for people to judge me or to throw their comments at me unsolicited, or you know what, even whether or not it's unsolicited or solicited, it opens up this door for people to say whatever it is they please. And I think sometimes people often don't realize there's like a human being on the other side who's reading all of these things and internalizing everything that you're saying. And I think that also takes a lot. It's yeah, it's very taxing emotionally, because there are a lot of mean people out there, a lot of keyboard warriors. And even if something is said without the intention of being mean, the way in which somebody communicates something can really affect you in a negative way. So that's something that has been a big eye opener for me. It's been very hard, because sometimes you get afraid to share what you want to share because you're afraid of all these people judging you. But at the end of the day, it's been a really fantastic journey, because I've been able to, be open about my experience. And in being open about my experience, I get a lot of strength in myself. I validate myself, I think.
Yeah.
And I also have a lot of people validating me. So there's like 95% great people, encouraging, motivational people out there who are following me. And then there's that 5% that kind of put your day down. But realize that
Yeah.
I need to concentrate on the positive, like in anything in life. I concentrate on the positive, and it's just been a very interesting journey for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And there's one thing that you did say. I was taking notes as you were saying it, and you mentioned a keyboard warrior. Who is a keyboard warrior?
Yes. A keyboard warrior is somebody who sits behind their laptop or their phone, whatever it is, and they just write mean messages. And the thing is, this is not somebody who would come and say it out in your face. This is somebody probably whose account is closed, or who has a fake account just to be out there saying mean things to people. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
what they
this is
call
where
a keyboard warrior. Yeah.
this is where you are alluding to the judgment. And because of this judgment, people may be afraid to share what it is that they have. But for you, it was an eye opener, and you went against all odds and went ahead to be energetic on social media. In fact, if I dare say, you went ahead to be bold on social media, because in the few things that I have watched on your social media, you are sharing things that make you very vulnerable, that make you quite vulnerable. And
Yes, exactly.
for me, that's a beautiful place to be, but a very scary place to be.
Exactly.
You've mentioned about self-validation. And one of the things that I do in my core values is I talk about self-validation. Many a times, because we have never identified what our values are, and we'll be coming to that with what you're filling your cup with. In self-validation, I talk about in core values that we've not identified who we are. And the folly in life is, if you do not know who you are, you tend to seek validation from others. You're unable to
Yeah.
move forward because, yeah, isn't that right, Tatiana?
Yeah, very, very
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
yeah. You tend to want to live somebody else's life.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that you do end up living somebody's life, and then years down the road, you're like a bitter individual because you're wondering, how come Tatiana is doing so well and I helped her? I
Yeah.
helped her. But you see, what you did is you helped her and you forgot about self. You forgot
Yes.
about taking care of yourself. So you kept on saying yes to Tatiana and you were saying no to yourself. So
Yeah.
in my session, like in the core values in the masterclass that I'm going to be taking people from, I walk you through this tool of where you learn how to say no to others or to things or to situations so that you can say yes to self.
Yeah.
And then your validation is right there. And I love it that
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
already brought up this self-validation, because if you don't root for yourself, if you're not your biggest fan, then who's going to be your
Who
biggest
is?
fan? Yes,
Exactly. Yes.
exactly. Who
But
is?
it's very difficult. I mean, and that's also a big learning. I mean, a big learning curve. I mean, that's also when I'm saying that, it comes with getting older and more experience, and then just also going through things. I think as much as you know who you are, then you become a mom, and then I think you can agree, like everything or everything you were
Yes,
changes. So you're
yes,
then left discovering yourself again. And then it's something so, as much as you try and prepare for it, it's
yeah.
something so new and there's so many voices in your head, so many people telling you things, that it becomes a very scary place again. So you've lost
Mm.
yourself on one aspect, you haven't slept, you know, anxiety, there's so many things going on, and then everybody has something to tell you about how they raised their kids and how they did it so much better, and this is what you should do, and all of this kind of stuff.
Yes.
So it's a difficult space to be in.
I can imagine. I can imagine. However, there's one thing that I do know, and just like in the computer systems, when you reboot, you go back to factory settings. And your
Mm,
factory settings are the core values and the principles that
mm,
were shared with you when you were young. And I talk about Bruce Lipton because he talks about the conscious mind. And the things that we do right now are made up of the time, our first formative years, year 1 to 7. We are conditioned by that, in that whatever was filled in our mind by our guardians at that time comes to be my factory settings later on in life. So now you are a mom and you're finding that you have times when literally in your mind you've thrown all your toys out of the cot and you're unable to stay focused, and these two little things are
yeah,
looking at you and expecting you to know all the answers
everything.
and have their back. So the onus is on you now to go
Yeah,
back to factory settings and remember your values and your principles and now impart them onto your children, because
yeah,
these children are in their formative years. And then children watch and learn. And right now, mom is very bold and mom is very authentic and mom is so much fun. You're creating memories with your children right now. And
yeah.
and I also understand that you share this on social media. You're doing things that people are so afraid to do. How do you feel about it? Although it's an eye opener, how do you feel? And before you answer that question, I've got Kadeke Mbidi who's joined us. Welcome, Kadeke. And we've got Sheila. Sheila Tua says, I have been unable, I have been unable to identify which social media would best suit me. I want to share my interest in plants, wildlife, and nature with anyone who's interested. Oh, way to go, Sheila. Okay, okay. But there are so many new channels being developed that I barely get enough time to learn even the ones that I'm already using. I know, I know. Maybe I should not bother sharing at all. Oops. Oops, Tatiana, what do you think? What would you say to Sheila?
um yes, there are so many platforms out there, and you have to find what works best for you. um Personally, I find Instagram to be a really great tool for this kind of stuff, because I think it doesn't require as much work, for example, as a YouTube channel where you have to film, edit, I find that to be a lot more work. But I mean, if you have the time for that, if you have the know-how, if you have the skills, go for YouTube. For me personally, Instagram is the best platform because absolutely everybody globally, everybody in the world is on Instagram. You can find anything that you want on Instagram. It's easy to take a picture and then write in your caption anything that you want to convey, any message that you want to convey. Yeah, I would suggest going for Instagram, but that's because it's my favorite tool. I find YouTube a bit too much work to get into that. And then I also find that Twitter is just a space for negative comments. It's genuinely, there are so many keyboard warriors on Twitter. Everything is negative on Twitter. And for me personally, for my mental health, it's just not a safe space. So Instagram for me works best.
Well, there you got it, Sheila. Instagram works best for Tatiana. And may I also add in my 2 cents? I have tried Instagram, I've tried Facebook, YouTube, and I have tried LinkedIn. And what I have found is that with Instagram, I am getting more traction. The thing is, Sheila, you need to be consistent. If you post today and then you don't post after a while, then you're no longer top of mind. Yeah, Tatiana, you agree with me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
You need to be consistent. And when you're consistent and you have your content, you're the one who is in charge of your content. You know best. So just like Tatiana is talking about today, I've learned something new, keyboard warriors. That's what you call them, yeah?
Yes.
Keyboard warriors. The keyboard warriors will be there. They're allowed their opinion, Sheila. You know what your content is about. You want to educate something specific, get on and do it. I would encourage you to also be learning about this that you're interested in. And if I just read again, it was plants, wildlife, and nature. That's your interest. So read up and connect people to different links so that they can actually see that you are authentic, that you're not perfect. There's some things you don't know. And people get attracted to that version of you. If you come onto social media, I beg your pardon, and you know it all, oh, let me tell you, they're going to troll you. They're going to rip you to pieces. So be authentic and let it be in my opinion. That's how you're sharing. Thank you so much, Tatiana, for helping us answer that. And Sheila, for your comments. So Sheila, don't go into the not sharing. We need you. These are the times of the pandemic. And during the pandemic, we want information, we want to learn. Share your story. Yeah. So when you say maybe I should not bother sharing at all, I say please, au contraire, please go ahead and share. Kavi, welcome. Jacinta, wow, that's a blast from the past. Good to see you. Okay, Tatiana, we were just asking, what have you managed to get out of this in the social media? Yes, it was an eye opener, but how are you managing to do it?
So before I had Mama Olive page, it actually was a food page where I would write down all the kind of healthier version of food that I was making because I was on this health path. Then I got pregnant and I just started sharing about that naturally. And it just took a turn on its own. And the most that I've taken out of it is the fact that people share with me and open up to me. And I think that's the thing that has impacted me most, because I get strength from everybody motivating me, encouraging me, telling me that they've gone through similar things, helping me with different topics, different issues. Yeah, so the community that the community that I'm surrounded with are amazing. I have an amazing following and they're always encouraging, motivating, and just a beautiful, wonderful community. So that's one thing that's impacted me the most. And of course, now with COVID, it wasn't my main source of income. I'm a photographer by profession. But with COVID, photography stopped for me because, of course, at the beginning went into lockdown. No one was hiring a photographer or anything like that. So my source of income actually had stopped. And I was lucky enough to have built this page so organically that people started to approach me to advertise things online. So I have to be honest in saying that the second thing is definitely that I'm making money out of it and I can support my family out of it. And that's just because of building an authentic platform where I share authentically. And yeah, it's just grown organically. It's not something that I had planned on doing, or I had not planned on doing social media as a profession. So I'm really grateful that it happened this way. Yeah.
Well, look at that. Tatiana, like my opening remark at that point was that COVID happened to all of us. And my question was to the audience, are you a creator? Are you a witness, or are you a victim? COVID happened to all of us. So are you sitting back and saying, why is it happening to me? And I'm encouraging you to say, why is it happening for me? What opportunities are there? I mean, look at you. You just
Yeah.
jumped from photography onto this page that you had
Yeah.
organically grown. And Sheila, I hope you're listening right there. The opportunity lies right there. Start today. Start today. A year from now, you're going to be happy that you started. Or a year
Amen.
from
Yeah.
now, you're going to be sad that you didn't, because you're going to see somebody else who had the idea with you at the same time and they've taken off. Therefore, you become a witness to somebody else's success. So be a creator of your own success and do like what Tatiana has done. She took that opportunity and now look, it's actually putting money on her table. Her social media explosion is able to take care of the financial needs of her family. Well, let's talk about support, because you started talking about your support system there in your tribe. And
Yes.
as you grew this particular social media platform, you found that you started it off as a foodie.
Yeah.
Now you got pregnant, and now you found that you were sharing ideas with people. Tell us more about this support that you got from other people.
So it happened, I think, yeah, when I was pregnant with Olive, my first. So around 4 years ago, when I started talking about my pregnancy, it was just more of, oh, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm so excited. You know, people are, you know, excited for you. But then I started sharing things like Olive was born. And I remember the first kind of maybe scary thing to share, or one of the first, was that I wasn't making enough breast milk, or my breast milk was yeah, it was just going down at one point. And I remember being worried about that. And so that was, I think, one of the scariest things that I shared at that time. And then there was like, you know, 10, 15 women in my DMs talking about, oh, I used this and this is what happened to me, and don't worry, it happens, and all of this kind of stuff, you know. And that's when I realized, wow, okay, you know, there are people here who truly care, and there are also other people going through the same thing. So maybe me talking about my issues will, you know, I'll be able to get so much more information and not feel alone. So that's where it really started for me. And from there, I just started sharing a bit more. And every time I would share, I'd get a bit more confident in the fact that I'm not alone and everyone else is going through it. And there's not as much judgment as I thought, even though that does come in, but there are more positive than negative. And so that just gave me that kind of strength to keep going and to keep sharing. And then I also realized in a lot of my DMs, people thanking me, you know, thank you for sharing this. You know, I thought I was alone. I'm too scared to talk about this. My family won't, blah, 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 whatever it might be. It was always just, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for coming out. Like, I really appreciate that. And that also gave me strength, because at the end of the day, it became more than just about me. And it became about, you know, giving that support to other women and to other moms and other people who may be going through a similar situation. So yeah, it became a lot more than just me. And that's where I kind of took it more, not seriously, but I had that strength to share more, because I realized it was affecting people in a positive way.
Well, just look at that. It's just amazing. You know what I find, Tatiana, is when I am in the social media space, I endeavor to leave reviews. So for instance, if I have had a good service or a good experience with an individual, I purpose to do that, because this is one way that you can support one another. I mean, just thinking about Sheila, who has commented, if she was now on social media talking about plants, and I took an idea from there, and I maybe had my balcony garden, and my cherry tomatoes came, and I was harvesting them, that I would remember to go back to Sheila and say thank you and leave a review. So there you go. You're already getting on your DM thank yous. And I do hope that people can go a step further and review, because today those are metrics that are looked at. When somebody's looking at your social media account, they want to be able to measure it. Why you and not somebody else? By the time those companies are coming to you and want to use you as a platform to promote their products, there are many things that they consider. So I am encouraging us here today on this broadcast. Let us support one another. If you see a good thing, then leave a review, read and comment. Don't be a silent listener or someone who is just watching, a follower. Yes, that is actually the follower. That's the word I was looking for. You know, engage, just engage, because social media can be your best or your worst tool. You need support. You need support. So even these keyboard warriors if they were to come and kind of jeopardize your progress, Tatiana, it's more positive than negative, because you can't please everybody in this world. But then you want to see what people are saying about you. Well, that is amazing. That is
Exactly.
great. Yeah, that is great. I love that. And I love the way we are progressing. I just want to hear more about the people who you have online who are supporting you, apart from young moms. Who else is supporting you? Did we lose you, Tatiana?
I mean, I think I have a lot of, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. I hear you now.
Hello? Oh,
We can
no.
hear you.
Okay. No, I have a lot of people who are not moms as well following me. But it's mainly my motherhood journey topics that, are the most vulnerable kind of things that I share, because everything else that I'm talking about, life that happens in my life, but it's nothing very vulnerable. I mean, I'll talk about mental health, mental wellness, and why working out and stuff like that is great for you. But nothing is really as vulnerable as motherhood. So that's why a lot of these conversations, or like the more passionate kind of conversations, or the more conversations that are very vulnerable and stuff, it happens with the moms. But every other conversation, so I do have other people following me. So I know I have about 30% men, 70% women. And I know a lot of those women are not mothers or are not families, but it's just that, yeah, my main deep conversations are around motherhood. But then, of course, I do share a lot about my wellness, fitness, health journey. And so I have a lot of people commenting on that and exchanging information with me on that. But it's nothing as serious, I'd like to say, as my motherhood journey.
All right. Well, I like the fact that you went with something that you knew for sure you were living in that moment. So it was live sharing, if I can say. It was your real life that you were sharing. It became vulnerable, therefore it made it authentic. You were able to have support. But I really want to jump onto the wellness and growth that you're talking about. And when I think about wellness and growth vis-a-vis being bold and authentic, the words mental health comes to me. Because when we're looking at social media, I'm putting myself out there. I am vulnerable. If I am somebody who is not rooted in my core values, I can be shredded to pieces on social media, or I can be looking at the other person, somebody who maybe I deem as my competitor, who is doing so much better in what it is that their tool of trade is. For instance, I'm a life coach. And if I'm not rooted in my core values, I will look at the other international life coaches, because then that is who I tend to follow, so that I could try my best to optimize on the opportunities during COVID. I can then begin to lose hope and give up. And before we go on, I can see there's a comment here. Oh, Jane has joined us. Hello, happy to be here. Great to see you, Jane. Jane, the question today is on social media and social media explosion during these times of COVID. What has it done for you? How are you plugging into it? And we've got Tatiana Karanja here, a mother of two, and she's sharing with us her journey and how it has exploded. Social media has exploded for her. Jane, you go ahead to acknowledge Sheila's comment, and you say, Sheila, there are many nature Facebook groups. Oh yes, there are groups. You can actually look for the groups and be part of these groups. Thank you so much for that comment. So just jumping back into wellness and growth and into that mental wellness. And if I'm not rooted in my core beliefs, I will then be, how do I say, I'll be like a rudderless ship. When people are talking about this particular topic, I will go with it because I want to please everybody and I forget about self. So why don't you tell us a bit more about the mental, was it the body, the mind, the soul, the mental aspect of it, Tatiana? How has that worked for you in your wellness and your growth?
So I think I'll start off by saying, I think those moments happen for everybody. And I think it's a common thing to keep getting to a stage where you suddenly feel kind of lost and defeated and happy. And I think it's common to keep getting to that stage because we often overwork ourselves. And I think that now starts happening when you're, what's the word, when you are, when you have a burnout. And so for me, I reach that stage quite often. And when I'm about to, it's not as bad as before, because when I'm about to reach that stage, I'm realizing it's actually not me who's there's nothing that I'm failing at. It's just that I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I've overworked, and it's actually time to reset and relax and take care of myself. And that's what I think is really important, because it's so common and so easy to get into that space of feeling like you're just unworthy and all of that kind of stuff. But I think it's more important to realize that it's not you, you're just tired, you need a break, you need a rest, and you need to reset. And then you get back into your, even if you have the core values at heart, I feel like you'll continue to get to that stage unless you take time to put into your schedule time for me time once a week where you don't touch a laptop, see your kids, whatever it is, whatever that looks like for you. It's very necessary to schedule that time in so that you don't reach those stages where you're really feeling unworthy and upset. And I think that's something I definitely have had to work on very intentionally, especially after having kids. I mean, even before kids, I mean, I used to have problems with depression, anxiety, and all those kind of things, but it wasn't as bad as when I had kids, because I just lost myself in being a mom, sleepless nights, trying to do so many things at one time, and just not resting, not taking care of myself. So it became really bad after I had my second child. And then, so I intentionally worked the whole of 2019 to better myself in all aspects of my life. So for me, that looked like getting back to the gym, getting back to eating well, getting some time off, allowing myself to let other people take care of my kids without me, taking time to sleep, maybe giving my kids to my dad, taking an hour's nap, catching a movie once a week, spending time with my partner. That was a big one as well, because there was so much tension at the beginning, because all our attention shifted to the kids and there was no time for us anymore. And, all those things that happened. So 2019 was a really big intentional year for me to look inwards and see what I needed and stop putting my kids first and put myself first. So that was a hard year of a lot of realizations. I mean, I wouldn't say it was hard. It was tough at the beginning. And then once I got in a rhythm and saw how much I just needed all of those things in my life, it was now easy to start implementing them daily. So for example, every single day without fail, or 5 days a week, I will go to the gym in the morning. And that is a non-negotiable for me. So I don't even start work. I won't have a meeting. I won't do a shoot. That 1 hour, 9 to 10 in the morning, is my me time, and that's a non-negotiable. And then of course there'll be one day in the week where I don't touch my phone and I don't see my kids, and I'm literally just lying like a potato on the couch the whole day, eating whatever I want, and just, that's my binge veggie day, and that's what I need. And another thing is also just allowing people to take care of my kids. I have really big anxiety about not being with my kids or other people taking care of my kids, because I believe they can't do it the way I do it.
Yes.
And it's one thing that I've had to realize, is that if I actually want to be a good mom and want to be present and want to be available and want to, just a quality human being around my kids, I need to have that time where I'm not with them to just recalibrate and have a rest. And so all of those are things that I make sure to take into account.
That's very powerful. That's very powerful, Tatiana, because I do know for a fact that me time for anybody allows you to recalibrate. And when you recalibrate, you end up, you allow yourself to show up in a better way, in an energized way. You are now of value to a situation or to people around you, because if you are in that depressed state, if you're in that tired state, if you're in that hopeless state, you really are no use to anybody. So you can imagine what we started off in the beginning, where I was talking about if I was given a chance to go back 25 years and it would be with my children. And I think about energy. That's what I keep on thinking about when I think of that time. It was me running over. I was younger and I guess I had more energy. It was me on the floor, wrestling, jumping up and down. I mean, my son may never forgive me for saying this, but I remember with my son, we were trying to have like kickboxing kind of postures. And he said to me, Mommy, one day when I grow up, I'm going to kick higher than you, because he felt so, competitive. A young boy is competitive. And today he's a 27-year-old young man, and he's a Muay Thai martial artist. And
Wow.
his kick definitely is taller
It's
than
higher than
him.
you.
Yeah, and he's 6'3". So you can imagine the memories that we created at that time. And I keep on thinking, energy, energy, and you break out into a sweat. But it is beautiful energy, because I made myself show up for my children, and I would do it over again. I would not even change anything. If anything, I would like to ask you one thing. How are you balancing it? Because in today's world, in this COVID time now, the children could have gone off to school. You could have had house helps by the number just coming through. You would be able to go into a restaurant like the way we have these shopping malls in Nairobi, and there's a children's playing area where you would leave your children there for 1 hour or 2 hours, perhaps get your hair done, get your nails done. You see, that doesn't exist anymore, Tatiana. And hold your thought first. For you to be
Yeah.
able to balance and have me time, it means you have taken time to plan your week or plan your day. And I want to believe, Tatiana, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you already have in the morning, you're waking up and you're doing your gym or your workout, you have that regime. That is first thing in the morning. When you are back into the present of being mom and wife, your day just takes off. What things are you compromising on your schedule so that you can have me time? Remember, I was encouraging that we have to say no to certain things so that we can say yes to self, so that we can be able to fill our own cups. I know that's a very loaded question, but can you help those of us who are in the audience right now listening, how you are able to identify what time during the day you can have me time, and it is conflicting with so many other things. And while you're thinking of that answer, let me just welcome you. I've got Moloko Jacques. Jacques, is that you? Oh, great. Wow, como ça va? So good to see you here, Jacques. And then we've got Gishuhi Moriuki, who has joined us. Karibu sana, Moriuki. Jane Kuvuna says, yes, self-care is important. It is very important. We really want to hear from Tatiana now exactly how she's able to balance and how she arrived at coming up with the times for me time, because it's easy to talk about it, Jane. It's another thing to actually implement and make sure the me time works. So Tatiana, we're coming to you in a minute. Nduku Sheila says, I enjoyed your explanation about being a quality human being, Tatiana. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. Okay, so Tatiana, over to you. How did you manage the me time allocation, given that you are a mother of two? These are the COVID times. It's not the same like 2 years ago, where you had places where you could accommodate the children as you went ahead and had me time. How were you able to carve it out in your day, Tatiana? And how do you continue doing that? Help us.
Well, I think the thing is, I'm really lucky because I have, firstly, my job isn't a 9 to 5. So both jobs, photography and content creation. So firstly, I'm really lucky in the sense that I get to schedule out the week how I would like it to go. I mean, there are some, I'm more flexible in a week than a lot of people who have a 9 to 5 job. So that's the first thing that makes this a bit easier to carve out the me time. Secondly, of course, when schools were open, they would be at creche and in nursery during the morning, and then then they nap, and then afternoons I'm with the kids. So I would be very intentional to have all my things done in the morning period. By the time they're waking up from their nap, it's my time with the kids. And then during COVID, you see, having said all that, the problem with me, or so I've been told, is that I find it very difficult to be away from my kids. No matter how exhausted I am, no matter, I cannot. And people are like, you need to also let your kids be independent, and you need to have time for yourself, and you just so that was one thing I really had to work on, was letting go. Because to this day, I'm the one person that will always just need to be around my kids. As much as I'm so tired, I could be crying, but I need to be with them. So that was one thing that I really needed to realize, even if it means that I'm compromising some time with them, I need that time for myself. And I had to push myself day in and day out to make sure that I was getting that time, because I would find myself getting super irritated with the kids much quicker than I would if I was recharged and, allowed myself that time out. So I think it was just a very intentional thing for me to daily, at least 30 minutes, because at the beginning, I'm telling you, morning to, as soon as their eyes opened and they closed, I could not be away from the kids. It was a very difficult thing for me. So the whole of 2019 again that's something I had to learn, was to be okay with letting them be with other people. They didn't even spend time with like their grandparents alone. I'm telling you, I don't know. I was very clingy to my kids. But yeah, so that's one thing I had to be intentional about. And then another thing is that, again, I'm flexible with my time. So scheduling in that time for me is a lot easier than a person with 9 to 5. And I honestly don't know how moms with a 9 to 5 do it. I hats off, because I wouldn't be able to manage. I would find it very difficult. So I wouldn't be able to talk on that as much as I would like to, because it's a lot easier for me to schedule that in.
Yeah. Well, I'm hearing two things there that are amazing, and those should be part of our takeaways, is that you need to plan yourself, you need to schedule yourself, and you need to learn how to let go. Because for us to be able to have this life on social media and grow it, we need to be able to have a schedule around the people that we love. We need to have a support system, and that is one thing that we've really put out for us, which is important, because at times what we end up doing is we just go with a day according to how the things present themselves. So we are more in a reactive mode than proactive. And Tatiana, I have found that when you are in a reactive mode, when I am in a reactive mode, I get more exhausted. I get more exhausted. So I'm better off when I have scheduled myself. So I love that you've done the scheduling and that you learn how to let go. But the one thing that really gets me going, even to this day, and it's something I'm still working around, is the guilt.
Mom guilt.
Oh, mom guilt. Even as you can hear how old my children are, I am still paralyzed with this guilt. And it comes from the fact that, am I giving of self? And then I was reminded a few Tuesdays ago when we were doing a session on the empty nest syndrome, that the children will leave. They will leave. So what have you left yourself with? Did you have your me time? Did you create activities that did not include your children or your guards, the children that you have, your wards, I'll call them your wards. Did you create activities that did not include your wards? Did you grow yourself? And that's why I'm talking about mental and social health, which is so important. That emptiness syndrome, really, that session opened up my eyes, and I asked myself, did I know this before I went in? And maybe that is why I still I'm riveted with guilt. But the children do have a life of their own, and you also need to have a life of your own, and it is very important. So while we are on this subject about wellness and growth, and I do appreciate that you have shared with us the planning and the letting go, have you ever considered or taken a moment to sit down and seen what are the areas that are important in your life other than your family and your career?
Yeah, definitely. So the most important thing outside of that is the health and the me time that I talk about. So that includes gym, eating, and also actually one of the other things that I found extremely important is my support system outside of my family. So my friends, my best friends who are, I kind of lost that social aspect when I had given birth. And I think I really, really needed it and relied on it a little bit. And I missed it a lot. So, and I found the time also to make sure to be with my friends and to, those laughs, those memories that you create, that life outside of being a mom, all those things that, when your kids leave, they're going to be there as well. And that is something that has been super important. I have really been able to rely on my friends. They have been a really amazing support system to me, to my kids. Whenever I need a moment, they would be there for my kids if I needed it, or they'll accommodate me. I'm the only one in my friend group with kids, and they'll accommodate anything on my end just because they know that I'm the one with the kids and have to plan all of this kind of stuff, so they'll even make plans around when my nannies are not on leave and make sure to tell me like a week or two in advance. And I really love having that support around me, and I really wouldn't be able to do a lot of things without them. So that has been something that's really important and that I value a lot.
Yeah, and loads and loads of gratitude, because from what I'm hearing from you, your life on social media has taken off. You are able to look at having me time, because you do understand the importance of showing up for your family when you are recharged. However, you also understand the fact that there's a strength, there's a tribe that supports you. And like I'm encouraging us here on this audience, that we need to be supporting one another. When is the last time that you dropped a DM to somebody to say thank you? Use social media, because nowadays meeting face to face is becoming a challenge. So use the social media, because this kind of metrics is going to help this individual when they are being looked at to qualify for positions. For instance, Tatiana now has shared with us that her social media, which grew organically, is the one that is putting food on the table. Look at that social media explosion. And perhaps you out there listening to this broadcast is concerned about social media. So you're hiding behind it. You don't want to go into social media because you're opening up yourself to keyboard warriors, like Tatiana says, or people who are just going to put you down and judge you. So for all of you out there, and Sheila being the one that I'm talking to specifically today, you have your dream. Things happen in two places. They happen in your mind when you're having it as a thought and as a dream, and they happen in real life when you put it down with a plan. Tatiana has said we need to schedule ourselves. So schedule your planning and the things that you want to do and put it out there. Guilt will come in. Guilt will come in, definitely.
Yes.
I'm looking at the comments here, and I've got Jane saying, great points on activities that involve the children for oneself. Yes, you must take care of yourself and your children. Emma, oh, great to see you, Emma. Karibu sana. Emma says, happy to be here. Insightful discussion. I love it. We love you too, Emma. And we really do hope that you will be engaging us here. The question today is on social media. What have you done to plug into the social media opportunities? Are you a creator, or are you a witness or a victim as to what is happening? We encourage you to ask yourself, why is this happening for me? Where can I plug in? Look at Tatiana. She was able to plug in her photography career as she knew it. Took a left. You know how you left things on social media, on WhatsApp? It left. And she was able to step into something else that was around her, within her reach. And now it's successful. Tatiana, it's already time up, and I'd just like you to leave with us with some 3 takeaways. Yes, our hour flies by so fast. If you could leave us with 3 takeaways, we would be so excited to hear from you. What is it that you feel that we need to know that we can apply today as we log off?
The 3 takeaways would be don't be afraid to be yourself. I know that's something that I think is pretty cliche because everyone says that, but I have really found that to be truth. Living in my truth has helped my page grow, has helped my career grow, has helped me put food on my kids' table. But not only that, as we talked about, it's given me strength. I have validated myself. It's made me feel more confident in the person that I am. So don't be afraid to be yourself. Another one is that no one is perfect. I think I'd like to specify this to moms, especially because I know that once you become a mom, you hear things from everybody, and everybody's telling you about how you're doing things wrong. But I'm just here to say that no one is perfect. No mom out there is perfect. No one has the right way of doing things. You do what's best for you and your family, and that is exactly what your kids and your family need, what you need for yourself. And don't be disheartened by what everyone else has to say to you. And then I think, again, take care of yourself in order to take care of your family. That's a really big one for me, because I realized that if I didn't take care of myself, I would not be able to be a good mom, a good partner, a good sister. So taking care of myself has been one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Tatiana. I just love your takeaways. And guys, I can see Jane has commented. She says, yes, be yourself. It's so important. And more now we hear this term, be authentic, because people are listening to these stories, but your story has got to be authentic. It cannot be a plastic story, because once it is, it just cracks. It just cracks. So you need to be yourself. And I love the thing that you're saying, no one is perfect, because every day we learn something new, Tatiana. That is so true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. So let us all listen and respond. Let us be consistent, guys. Let us get into social media and use it as an opportunity today in COVID. I mean, one of the things that I mentioned was to buy and sell goods. Sell your services on social media. Be consistent, Sheila. Get that idea of yours out there and make sure that you are also supporting other people, because this it's like karma. It just comes back. Leave reviews, comment, engage with people. Don't be a quiet follower like Tatiana is talking about. And the biggest one for me is have gratitude. Have gratitude that you have this space to do this. And you've got people who are there who are consuming your story. Thank you so much, Tatiana, for your time, for joining us today. It was so good to have you here on the show. And we do hope that you can come back again. My request
I would love to.
Yes, my request to you is that if you could go onto our Facebook page and just leave a few comments and just acknowledge those who came on, and perhaps just type in for Sheila some takeaways that she can use to get her dream going, so she doesn't give up on that. And share with us your contacts so that we can follow you and also learn a few things. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tatiana. Thank you for joining us. So guys, you've heard it from Tatiana, and we do hope that we will have another chance to have her on the session with us. So next week, we continue with energy and prosperity, and we will be having another guest who is going to show us what her take is on energy and prosperity. We would love you to like our page, leave comments, engage, and get to know what it is that we are doing. Like our Facebook activities like the one that we're doing today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I know Tatiana said that's quite a bit of work there going on at YouTube. If you could please subscribe to it and click the notification button. Now, I shared with you with all the offers that we have this May, and I do hope that you will go onto our Facebook page and have a look at them, especially the ones that are giving you a learning experience, and that is your personal development. We do hope that you will get value in the things that you have. And I want to thank you so much for joining us, and you must help build one another. But anyway, until next week, we would love you to please be kind to yourselves. Bye-bye now.
See you.
Ciao.